In today's video, I'm going to give you 7 relationship pitfalls to avoid. Let's go. What's up, everybody? It's your man, Pastor Daryl. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's video. Whether this is your first time watching or you come back each and every week, I pray that you get the content that's needed to take your relationship from surviving to thriving. Let's jump right into today's video. 7 relationship pitfalls to avoid. Pitfall number 1, minimizing the thoughts and feelings of your spouse or minimizing your own thoughts and feelings. So listen to me, whether your spouse is coming at you to dream a little bit and say, hey babe, I want to live in a bigger house. I want a swimming pool. I want XYZ in the next 1, 3, 5, 10 years. Or if they're coming to you saying, listen, this is what I am feeling in our relationship, or this is what I need more of in our relationship in order for us to be the best we can be for each other. And you in turn respond to them, oh man, why are you feeling like that? Oh, why are you coming at me like that? You don't need to dream big like that. You don't need more love and affection in this relationship. Listen, that is a dangerous place to be in, and it is a pitfall you should avoid. Always be willing to share, always be willing to communicate, always be willing to show that you have an interest in how your spouse is thinking and how they are feeling. Pitfall number 2, reacting to non-war issues with a war mentality. You may have heard this before. Stop making mountains out of molehills. Listen to me, everything is not that big a deal. Okay, the toilet seat was left up, or some dishes were left in the sink. Maybe the counter wasn't cleaned off. Maybe the floor wasn't vacuumed. Whatever it is, that don't mean you gotta huff, puff, and blow the house down. I get the fact that you want to see change, but you're not going to experience that change if you always have a negative mindset, if you always have a war mentality. It's only natural for people to want to get defensive. They either fight or they flight. If they fight you because you have a war mentality, or they avoid you because you have a war mentality, the issue isn't with them fighting or flighting so much. The issue is stop reacting with a war mentality. There's a difference between a reaction and a response. And I want to get you to the place in your relationship where you respond as opposed to react. Pitfall number 3, not accepting your spouse for who they are and working hard to try to change them. Listen to me, y'all, I say it all the time. People that need to be changed can't change people. So you're wasting time and energy trying to change your spouse when you yourself need to change. The issue isn't what they are doing or what they aren't doing. The issue is how you are responding to what they're doing or what they're not doing. So when you change, chances are your spouse will change. There's a text in the Bible that says, by beholding we become changed. So if you're always giving an image of anger, that's probably what you're gonna get in return. If you're giving an image of peace, of patience, of long suffering, of love, that's probably the image you're gonna get in return. So instead of trying to change your spouse, focus on changing you, which should in turn, by default, change your spouse. Pitfall number 4. When our likes, dislikes, thoughts, and opinions are always clashing with our spouse, that's how you know your relationship is in a bit of trouble. And the way to get out of this pitfall is remember what brought you to your spouse in the first place. Go back to the beginning, y'all. I've said that before in one of my previous videos, where obviously where you are right now, life has gotten in the way. Maybe it's the kids, maybe it's the job, right? Maybe it's a health challenge, right? But what I want you to do is go back to what attracted you to your spouse. Obviously in the beginning, there was some type of attraction, there was some type of chemistry there that kept you coming back for more. Now, I'm not saying you have to be the same person. There's no way that both of you will like the same thing all the time, will not like the same thing all the time. But when you're in the pitfall of everything, no matter what it is, good or bad, you're always at odds, go back to the beginning and reset yourself. I worked in IT for 20 years and people leave their computers on all the time, y'all. They leave it on all week long, come back the next week and expect everything to work just fine. And when it doesn't work just fine, they'll call me up and say, hey, something's wrong with my computer. I'll politely go over to their desk, assess the situation, and do one simple trick. I will reboot the computer. I restart the computer. When it comes back up, everything is working back to normal. You You will be surprised what a reset in your relationship can do. And how you reset your relationship, how you restart the computer, how you reboot the system is by simply going back to the beginning, right? Saying we're not going to worry about what life has thrown at us over the years. We're going to go back to what attracted us, what intrigued us, the chemistry that we had in the beginning. We're going to try to get back to that place and then grow from there. Relationship pitfall number 5, knowingly placing yourself in a position of relational danger and downplaying that it could potentially lead to compromise. Listen to me, you do not have to tell old girl at the office that she looks banging in that dress. You do not have to tell old boy that works out at the job how good he looking in that shirt. See, you think flashing that smile is harmless, but I promise you, it only takes a little bit to go a long way. Listen to me, if you flirt on the job or at church or outside of the home more than you flirt at the house, you are finding yourself in a position that is not impossible, but is very difficult to come back from. So listen to me, y'all, make sure you don't put yourself in any positions that can jeopardize the status of your relationship. And that leads me to pitfall number 6. When you're more communicative and relational and vulnerable with other people outside of your spouse, that's a pitfall you want to avoid. Now, I'm not talking about just your coworker or church member, what have you. I'm talking about even your family members. When you could confide in your kids more than you confide in your spouse. When you can confide in your mom or your father, your sister, anybody who is not your spouse, and you're more vulnerable with those individuals, you're finding yourself in a pitfall, again, that's very hard to come back from. Find out why you are willing to be more vulnerable with them and take that same energy and apply it at home. It's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. The same energy that it takes to be more vulnerable and communicative and relational with people outside of your house, outside of your relationship with your spouse, it takes that same level of energy to do those same things with your spouse. So avoid the pitfall of picking up the phone and calling your girl, calling your homeboy, talking to your kids, right? Y'all, I see this all the time where one spouse will act like the child is their spouse. You cannot do that. Don't put that pressure on your relationship. Don't put that pressure on your kids to have to be husband. They trying to be son, daughter, not husband and wife. And pitfall number 7, trying to correct your spouse more than you connect with your spouse. Listen to me, if all you're doing is complaining and complaining and complaining about what they're doing and what they're not doing, as opposed to trying to connect with them in positive ways, you're gonna find yourself in a pitfall. Never underestimate the power of uno. Never underestimate the power of just sitting on the couch and watching a TV show together. Never underestimate the power of simply going for a walk in your neighborhood. Try to find things that make you connect with your spouse so that when correction is needed, it will be easier to swallow. But if you're always complaining all the time and there is no connection, chances are you will find no correction. So that's it, y'all. 7 relationship pitfalls to avoid. If you found value in this video, would you do me a favor and hit the like button and even share this with those in your circle of influence so that they can get value from it as well? And just as a reminder, I put out videos every single Wednesday that are designed to take your marriage from surviving to thriving. So hit the subscribe button via whatever platform you're watching this on. Specifically those on YouTube, you gotta hit the bell right next to the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any video that comes out every single Wednesday. I love you with the love of Jesus Christ. Always remember, you are called to something greater. See you next week. Peace.